slow down our writing and add a thought shot to a piece of writing. In my classroom, I probably would have a piece of writing already ready to go, and then in the revision process, make these changes to our writing. So, let's see. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about, does anybody not have a phone that has pictures on it? Do you want, I have some pictures, I have some images. But what I want you to do is I want you to find one picture from your phone that you have, that it's a memory of something that you've taken recently, and okay.
It might actually,
but there's lots of different things there. But find one picture that you want to write about today, a photograph of something that you could kind of zoom in on and tell the story of. The same colleague who's not here, Heather, she had this quote and I borrowed it from her, but I want you to think of one small moment in that photo that you could zoom in upon and explode it into an entire story. Then I'm going to give you about 7 minutes to write, because it might take you a while to kind of get going. So, go ahead and when you're ready, go ahead and get started.
Can I just visualize one?
You can, yes, of course.
And then just write about that topic.
Mm-hmm. Yep, just write about that. And with the students, like I said, I've done pre-planning and things like that. Yeah, so one small moment, so a narrative or a personal narrative. does slow down writing. And so there are 3 different types of thought shots that you may come across. There's a flashback, so when a character goes back in time. There's also a flash ahead, something that they are thinking about that may happen in the future, and also internal dialogue, which is them kind of talking to themselves or reasoning through things. And that's what I found most of the time for thought shots is I have found that internal dialogue. Also in this, the Big Book of Details, there are also the author talks about 3 levels of thought shots. One is just the thinking. It's just what the character is thinking inside their head. The second one has some action and those thoughts, and I can always use out afterwards too if you want to look at them. And then the third lesson that's referenced is where they're doing some dialogue and some thinking within the same sentence. So you can take your students' writing from just adding what they're thinking to on through those levels to increase that maybe interest level as a reader. So I'm going to read some examples from books that you probably have read, if not have seen, of some internal dialogue that the character is thinking. So this is Birdie, and he is he's supposed to, I don't know what kind of snake he is, but he's supposed to grow up and lose all of his yellow scales and have green scales, but the green scaled snakes are very boring and they just lay around, and he doesn't want to do that. So I have 3 examples of some thought shots within this book. So at the top of a very tall tree, Birdie gripped one branch with his tail and another with his little snake jaws. I will never be lazy, boring, or green, he thought. I will jump and climb and keep moving so fast that I will stay yellow and striped forever. Then Birdie let go. So the author states right there for the reader he thought. So that's one way to put in a thought shot of what the character is thinking without just saying what he's doing. So then Birdie flung himself into the water. If I can't run this green off, I'll scrub it off, he thought. He's starting to get some more green. So he's thinking about, what do I do to get rid of this green? I don't want to become one of these green snakes. And so then another example is down here in the paragraph here. So Birdie he came across some green snakes, and they said, "Do you want to come with us?" And so they left. He said, it says Birdie wasn't ready to join them. He wasn't sure where he wanted to go, so he just stretched and stayed put until the sun went down. So then that's 3 examples of how this author put in some thought shots to add to that internal dialogue of what the character was going through. And then with Chrysanthemum, this takes place when she's younger and she loves her name. That's the last line. She loved her name. So she loved the way it sounded when her mother woke her up. She loved the way it sounded when her father called her for dinner. And she loved the way it sounded when she whispered it to herself in the bathroom mirror. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. So it's not a direct quote. It's not she thought, but it's not any action. It's a look inside the character's mind to see what he's thinking. And so what I want you to do is I want you to look back into your writing and see where would a really great place for you to add a thought shot would be. Something that your character or the person that you're writing about is thinking. And then you can just tape it right in like a speech bubble.
So there's a spot where you could add more of what maybe you're thinking at the time, maybe when you're looking or when you're standing in your garden or something like that. Maybe a memory, a flashback to when you first planted them or what you want them to look like in the future. There'd be an area that you could add details to. Do you want to speak about that?
I don't have any thoughts. Nobody wants to hear my story.
So, I'm going to press tape when you're ready.
Just right where you want to insert it.
fuzz, it can peel it down. Or a sticky note and keep it from
And I didn't realize Leanna has actual thought bubble looking sticky notes. I didn't know those were available. I was like, oh. And it's well, go ahead and reread over what you've written, and then if you're willing to share, that would be great. We can listen to how you revised some of your writing, added a slower moment in your writing. You want to share? Okay.
Mine was entitled Roses. My roses were beautiful this year. I had multiple blooms on several branches of both of my bushes. They were pink with a hint of orange. Their lives were cut short this year because of the hailstorm we had last Sunday. The storm totally annihilated the bushes and leaves, along with all of the other vegetation in the yard and the surrounding area. It was a sad day indeed, because they smelled so wonderful, and I was hoping to bring them inside to create a rose bowl for my living room. They will be back just as beautiful next year.
Maybe internal dialogue or flash forward.
Yeah, because it was like I was sad, and it was like, but there's always next year.
Thank you for sharing.
All right. Who doesn't like to go on summer vacation? Time to get away, spend time with the family, relax, have fun, no schedules, party. Waking up to the excitement of leaving for Lake McConaughey was one of the best feelings. However, nothing could compare to watching the girls run down the beach and hop into the refreshing water. Oh, the sounds of excitement. A laugh, a squeal, a yell, all came exploding out of the girls as they jumped into the warm, cool, calm waters to take a dip. This is the first time either of them could remember swimming in the lake, and the smiles on their faces told me that this was the best summer vacation yet. Even Daisy, our dog, had a smile on her face. We had to drag her out of the water. And I just thought I could continue going on with how they thought that how could we stay here longer and enjoy this beautiful, magical summer hangout.
Anybody else?
The canyon stretches across the fairway, the only approach is over, and it's too hard to get the ball off the ground in the first place. I have to get it off the ground, but I have to get it far enough too, so then I focus on my thoughts. I think which club? This black one has worked. It's the Plumbo. I like it. Don't you read my head? I've hit it best in the past. I remember that shot in number 9 in the practice round, smooth and easy. It flew up and far, far enough to cover the canyon, far enough to cover this canyon.
or they look like they either have a smile or a frown. She has given her son the love of books and reading just as I have hoped to give her. And then my speech bubble, I kind of started wondering, what Deacon would think.
So, in thinking about not even just adding the thought shots, but even just the teaching moves of having a piece of writing and using a mentor text to add some revision into it. What are some other ways you can think of, or what are some ways you'd like to take anything that we talked about back to your classroom?
I just think kids a lot of times have a hard time coming up with ideas and how to write, and just having us pull out a picture that we're so familiar with, and maybe, a lot of them we've just experienced. Having that right there on hand, if there's some way that they could think of that in their head or even bring it in, might get those unmotivated writers really kind of a jump start on their writing and get them interested and excited about writing, and something that they can really feel excited to share with others, because I know writing sometimes hard to share.
But it's about you and an experience that you want to share. They want to talk about it.
Exactly, and they have the choice to choose what they want, and so it wasn't just handed to them. It was something, I don't know, I think this would be great for those reluctant learners, for sure, about all kids too. I mean, they could really tap down into their own feelings and what they experience.
So how do you motivate kids to want to draw?
Well, I think just having something that they really love, finding out what they really love, and maybe they could draw, and then
Tell their story.
Tell their story.
From the pictures that they drew.
Mm-hmm. And even if we were to share the pen, and I would take turns, and they would take turns, and things like that. So just making accommodations for them. I had a student last year who just, with the physical act of writing the fourth grader, it was so difficult for him, and so getting him to write anything was really hard. But if I found, excavators, just loves them. So he wrote everything about excavators. So, and then he was a little bit more willing to do, or his dog was more willing to. So that choice, I think, helps too.
I think just checking in with the student as well. We had a student, I think we shared, that came to the writing marathon in Star Valley.
The 10-year-old?
No, but actually it's high school student.
Okay.
And he grabbed a journal right away, and all he did was sketch of each stop. But when it came to share, he had composed everything on his phone. So I think at first glance I would have thought, he's just drawing. He's not really. But so I think a conversation with some students too, that I write a lot without writing words down. Like I would tell my husband I have a paper to write, and then it'll be like, it's already written. Like, yeah, but I got to get it on the paper. I think sometimes too we're too quick to jump in and assume things, and so it's nice to just have a conversation with the student about what are you thinking, and how is this helping you with your writing, and bringing it back to writing can help too.
So a good analogy of that is that commercial where the guy is taking his kids on vacation, and he's thinking that the girl is just messing around on her phone the whole time. And then at the end of the thing, it's like best vacation ever, and she has this really cool presentation. It's like,
yeah. So sometimes I know I'm very guilty of making assumptions, and then so it's nice to just talk about it. My adult students sometimes, if they're messing around on their phone, I'll just kind of settle up on, what are you doing? Not in an accusatory way, but because sometimes they really are like, I'll have used a word that they'll want to look up or something.